1 million UFO sightings are reported each year. Most can be debunked, but 5% remain unexplained. These are the close encounters. In a suburban schoolyard, 12-year-old Terry Peck and her classmates are trying to improve their soccer skills.
Good save, Terry. Let's run it again.
Terry Peck was a student at Westall High School, and on the morning of the 6th of April, she was participating in a physical education class out on the sports ground at the high school. Suddenly, the word got out that there was something in the sky above their heads. And they looked up and saw this unusually shaped object, an object that they'd never seen before. It just almost suddenly appeared out of nowhere. They were very used to seeing light aircraft flying around Westall, and it was something of that order, about the length of an aeroplane, but the shape was nothing like an aeroplane. It looked like a classic flying saucer, described often as a saucer joined together with another saucer at the rims. Given the manner in which it was flying, some of them weren't sure whether it was actually going to land, and if it did come down, what would happen then, what would come out of it.
The Westall case, I've interviewed a number of the witnesses. It is a very complex case, but there's absolutely no doubt that something occurred there. There were many, many witnesses, possibly over 100 school students and a number of the school teachers, and also members of the general public in the Westall area, all witnessing different parts of this sighting.
Don't move!
About 5 minutes after the flying saucer is first sighted above the school, the morning recess bell goes. And so then the rest of the school comes out.
Children, we've got to get back inside! Get back inside! Mr. Bruce, we've got to get the children inside! There's something in the field over there!
And very quickly the word gets around that there's something strange happening out on the sports ground.
At that point, pandemonium kind of invaded the school.
It's chaos as the kids are running around trying to catch a glimpse, to get closer. What's going on? One of the students comes out by the name of Victor, and Victor sees all of these kids hanging off the western boundary fence. And sure enough, there, over in the paddock, is a flying saucer-shaped object hovering just above the ground.
Everybody, back from the fence!
There's a teacher there, and the teacher's crying out to the kids, don't go over the fence, come back, stay where you are.
Back from the fence!
And Victor says to himself, well, bugger that.
Victor, get back here! Victor! Get back here right now! This isn't funny!
There was a real element of danger. What's going to happen next?
What's that?
A group of Australian students watch as a flying saucer-like object lands in the middle of their Melbourne schoolyard. one student dares to take a closer look.
Of all the witnesses that I've talked to with regard to the Westall case, I zeroed in on Victor. His sighting was very much a very close encounter.
It took Victor a very long time. In fact, it was several years to confide in me that story.
Victor, get back here! Victor gets back here right now!
He can still see and hear all of the kids amassed on the fence and can still hear the voice of the teacher crying out to him to come away, to keep back, to come back into the school. But he stays put and walks up closer. He was able to get a very good look at what it was, and to his amazement, it was seemingly made of metal, but there were no signs of rivets or screws or nuts. It was almost as if it was made of one seamless piece of metal, as if it had been cast out of a mould. He doesn't have any memories of doors or hatches. And he remembers there being a red glow. Victor gets so close to the object, he can actually feel the heat radiating off the body of the flying saucer.
There is a history of some of these close encounter cases where people have actually touched objects and had some fairly severe injuries as a consequence.
He was trying to touch it, but decided at the last minute to draw back.
He described it as rising up rapidly and then stopping at a low altitude. As it rose up, he felt no displacement of energy or wind or air pressure.
Victor doesn't remember any sound of any substance at all coming from the flying saucer. It was virtually, if not completely, silent.
Several meters away, Terry Peck is still watching.
Terry remembers very clearly that at some point the flying saucer moves away from the school and down to the grove of pine trees.
The object appears to be headed for a wooded area at the edge of the school grounds, known as the Grange.
All these students go straight to the Grange.
Terry discovers a girl apparently in shock.
It was as if she had fainted and was just recovering.
What happened? I don't know.
Terry tried to find out what on earth she'd seen. We don't know exactly what happened to this student after that. It was reported that she was so badly affected by what she had experienced that when ambulance was called for her,
They're moving again.
she watches it lift off. It then turns into a vertical plane and then flies off at great speed without making any sound. There are people who suggest that because a large number of the witnesses were children, we can't necessarily believe what they say they saw, and I don't necessarily prescribe to that.
In this case, the children's evidence is very compelling because there's such a high degree of consistency.
Certainly, most of the witnesses were school students, but also teachers and local residents and workers.
And the real crux to this was that it was not at night, it was in broad daylight. There can be no doubt that they saw something, and really the debate comes down to what did they see? What is it that occurred at Westall? I don't know. Was it a bona fide alien UFO event, or was it some sort of clandestine military intelligence operation? It certainly behaved in ways that were way beyond our contemporary technology. If it was operating by us in some sort of secret experiment back in 1966, where is that technology now?
Terry and Victor, like dozens of other witnesses, will remember the sighting for the rest of their lives. Later the same day, a local newspaper reporter gains access to the Grange, where he photographs unusual circular markings on the ground. The Westall School headmaster, not present at the sighting, discounts the event and warns students to keep away from the media. UFO experts believe the sightings in the schoolyard and at the Grange were witnessed by as many as 300 students, teachers, and local residents. Most maintained their silence until 2005, when a new investigation into the case was opened and media interest was renewed. Almost 40 years after the sighting, some 90 witnesses reunite and swear once again they saw a flying saucer that day.
It was getting closer to him.
An airplane can't slow down that rapidly.
The car was dead.
You shift over, John?
Thank goodness. Good night.
Have a good one.
After a long shift at the psychiatric hospital, nurse attendant John Hudson finally heads home.
I personally interviewed John Hudson. We were able to verify his employment at a local hospital, and he was employed in a position of high credibility. He was playing Christmas music real loud on the radio, kicking back and enjoying the ride home. And it's about a 15-minute drive home.
You have one new voice message. Hi, honey. Hope you had a good day. I just wanted to give you a heads up. The roads were really slippery when I came home tonight, so drive carefully, okay? Love you. Bye.
The route home is a windy country road with rolling hills, fairly desolate.
Slight rain tonight, with temperatures expected to reach a low of 37, but it will warm up in the afternoon with a high of 48. The Knicks dropped to 3 and 11.
And as he came over one of the hills, he noticed a light in the sky. As he was driving, the object was becoming larger and larger because he was getting close to it or it was getting closer to him.
It appeared to be a light off in the distance, like you normally see an aircraft lighting. The light seemed to be moving at a fairly rapid speed.
He was very curious. He pulled off the side of the road and stopped.
As the object moves closer to Hudson's car, it slows to a crawl.
That doesn't fit with any kind of motion of a typical airplane. Airplane can't slow down that rapidly. Approximately 200 feet in size, cigar-shaped.
At the bottom of whatever this was. It was long, rectangular, almost like a fan blade. This object was now basically directly overhead. And I think at that point, he went from a state of curiosity to evolving into a state of fear.
John doesn't think he's dealing with something that has come of this earth.
In the desolate foothills of the Catskill Mountains, a mysterious object stops directly over John Hudson's car.
It was over the vehicle and it was just rotating.
The craft releases an unusual beam of light that to Hudson looks like a solid tube.
Solid light is a light that behaves as a tube that doesn't diverge or fan out, but that's not something that we've been able to develop to any great degree at this stage.
It's like stopping in midair. In natural laws of physics, we can't stop light in the midair. To stop light physically is literally impossible.
The closest approximation would be a laser light that doesn't diverge. We're a long way off trying to emulate that effect.
The light beam struck the vehicle.
Solid light beam cases seem to involve interacting with our own light systems as well and affecting those in quite unusual ways.
The headlights in the car went out, the dashboard lights went out, the music that he was listening to in the car went out, the car was dead.
There was no electrical flow in anything in the vehicle.
The cell phone was dead.
John Hudson is miles away from help.
There was no one there, there were no cars, there's no street lights. He's in a very dark, desolate country road. He tried to put the windows down, the power windows wouldn't work, the power door locks wouldn't work, so now he's feeling trapped. He finally is able to get a hold of the door handle and manually pop the door open. And he was trying to figure out what to do. Should he stay in the car? Should I open the door? Should I try to run for it?
The strange tube of light suddenly pulls back.
The lights on the object went out. Everything in the car came back on. I asked him, did it take off or did the lights go out? He said he didn't know.
And John Hudson doesn't wait around to find out.
He pushed the gas pedal to the floor and got out of there as fast as he can.
He ran every stoplight and stop sign between that location and his home.
He was scared to death, and he almost wrecked the car.
John was a medical professional. Most hospital individuals pay attention to details. So we have a situation here where somebody's describing something that happened to him, and I don't for one moment think anything John said is untrue.
John's car becomes the focus of an investigation by MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network. MUFON uses a tri-field meter to scan the car. They report that the needle peaks beyond readable scale limits, indicating a very strong magnetic field. Investigators locate an identical vehicle for comparison testing, but none of the same heightened magnetic readings are found. When MUFON returns to inspect John Hudson's car 3 weeks later, They report finding 60% of the magnetic field still present in the vehicle. Investigators interview a New York State trooper who was assigned to patrol the area where the incident occurred. The officer acknowledges hearing radio traffic about strange lights in the sky, but these are later determined to be a hot air balloon. No other witnesses ever come forward to corroborate John Hudson's claim of a close encounter.